Welcome, everybody. Papaschu here. Welcome to the forest. Golly, you are not going to believe what just happened to me. I was just pulling my computer forward a little bit to get a better view of the monitor, and I unplugged I didn't unplug it, but the plug for the computer got caught, and it unplugged. Oh, man. Now I got to wait for Ray to finish reloading. I think we're ready. So, how is everybody tonight? Did you have a good week? Tonight we have a 2x shard pull on sacred shards. I've already done all my daily quests. Got the weekly quest to do. One more to do there. Oh, just get an artifact to level 12. Let's do that real quick before we do the shard pulls. Find a level 8 artifact. Anything will do. Current level 5 to 8. Boom, boom, boom. I don't think it's going to give me another sacred shard. But it will give me another ancient shard. No, I've still got a ways to go to get another sacred shard. All right, then. Let's see what we got. I got lucky on one of my alt accounts. Well, I consider it lucky. I pulled... let's see who I pull. Gaius the Gleeful, the Mad Bomber. When attacked, has a 30% chance of placing a bomb debuff on the attacker that detonates after 2 turns, occurs once per hit, instantly detonates all bomb debuffs on all enemies whenever this champion is killed. And attacks one. So go back to this one. So even if he dies, if the bombs kill the enemies, all of them, you can win. And there's a 3 explosive wit. Attacks one enemy 2 times. The first hit instantly detonates all bomb debuffs on the target. The second hit will ignore all unkillable buffs on the target. So that's a good thing. I've been looking for a champ to ignore unkillables. It is A2 Jester's Remedy. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff on each enemy for 1 turn. Also has a 75% chance of placing 2 bomb debuffs on each enemy that detonate after 2 turns. So we've got the sleep and the bomb there. It has 4 turns and it only cools down to 3. I think that's kind of like their maximum cooldown or minimum cooldown. And then there's A1. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times, grants an extra turn if this attack kills an enemy. Can't show you how I have them built out. I'd have to load a different account for that. But I'm planning on him for PvP. All right, let's get down to it. Let's see what we get. I don't know if I've recently pulled if I've hit Mercy yet. I wish that's one of my hurt points is I wish Ray would help us track our Mercy. All right, so we've got 2 events going on. And so we've got the 2 event and we've got a progressive chance up to 25 times, and for this I have chosen, well, Let's find out who we choose here. Felina Soul Seeker, Support Champ. Her passive, Evil Ways, or is that it? Yeah, that's a passive. Increases all allies' turn meters by 2% whenever a poison debuff is activated on an enemy. If there are multiple champions on this team with this skill, only one will activate. This skill will not activate on duplicate copies of this champion if this particular champion is dead. Decreases enemies' crit rate by 5% and crit damage by 10% for each poison debuff on them. The effect does not work against bosses. Attacks all enemies on her A3 before attacking. Places a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 2 turns. Also has a 75% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 2 turns. On her A2, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing 5% poison debuffs on all enemies for 3 turns, then increases all allies' turn meters by 20% and damage is based on attack. In an A1, attacks one enemy, has a 30% chance of instantly activating 1 tick of 2 poison debuffs on the target. Instantly activates 1 tick of all poison debuff on the target if the target has any of their skills on cooldown. And then she has a aura of speed in all battles by 19%. And I just want to take a look at the other champ, see what he's got. Don't think I want him particularly. Dark Elves defense champion is passive. Has a 15% chance of joining an attack whenever an ally attacks an enemy. This chance increases to 25% when an ally from the Dark Elves faction attacks. Enemies killed by this champion whenever they counterattack or join in an ally's attack cannot be revived. I think I might take this guy instead of the other one. His A3 plays 60% increased defense buff, counterattack buff, and a 15% shatter buff on this champ for 3 turns. And that starts out with a 6-turn cooldown, and you can get it down to a 4-turn cooldown by booking. On his A2, we have attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore block damage, and shield buffs. Whenever this champion teams up with an ally to attack an enemy, they will use this skill. When joining in allies attack, will attack 3 times instead. And on his A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore unkillable buffs. When counterattacking, will attack 3 times instead. So, yeah, I think I'm going to keep that one as the possible legendary that I would like. The chances are very low, as we all know. So first you've got to got our 2x, and we've got a 12% chance of pulling a legendary, and of that 12%, you've got another 15, 20, or 25% chance of pulling this particular champion. So we're going to do them one at a time, and because that's all you can do. So here we go. We have enough silver to get it covered. We have we're probably going to have to send everybody to the bank, to the vault, and off we go. Ready, set, go. Starting off We get Bergoth the Malformed, HP Champion, Knights Revenant. Then we have Vogoth, pretty decent Epic Champion. And the next is Erinese. From what I've seen, she's a fairly decent champion, but I think she worked well with her sister, demons. On to the next. We have 8 left to go. Ooh, we got a legendary Ray. And let's go over Ray's skills here. She's a pretty decent champion. Not the greatest. She gets some good scores for campaign locations, arena, faction wars, spider den, minotaur labyrinth. Not so much for PvP. Although she does have, we'll cover it. So she got increased speed in dungeons by 33%. On her A3, we have attacks all enemies, removes all buffs, has a 50% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn on ATK, and that's for 7 turns. That's 7 turns. That's a long time. But if you book her out, that goes down to 6 turns. But your debuff and damage increases. Let's see, the debuff, fully booked, the debuff chance increases by 20%, and the damage increases by 10%. On the A2, again attacks all enemies, inflicts 50% more damage against targets under debuffs, and that's on a 4-turn cooldown, and it stays at 4 turn. The only thing that happens when you book her out is that the damage increases by 25-30%. On the A1, attacks all enemies, has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased debuff, a decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And when you have her ascended to 3 stars, it goes to 60% decreased defense, and it still stays at 30%. When fully booked, the damage level goes up by 20%. The chance of debuff goes from 30% to 50%. So that's her plus thing, is that she attacks all enemies on all attacks. I think the only other champion that does that is the rare. All right, so now we're up to a higher percentage. We're up to 20% or times 20 if we pull another legendary on 7 shards. All right, so on we go. And you know what? I did not change that champion. And we get Maeve. And Signy of High Shield. Good for faction wars. That's about it. Campaign locations. Not much else. 5 more to go. Gory. No campaign lore. And you see, he gets some pretty good scores here. 4.2, 4.4. He gets solid fours. Close to 4.5 on pretty much everything. So let's take a look at Gory while we're here. His A1, we go attacks one enemy 2 times, places an extra hit if the target is under a freeze debuff, heals this champion by 10% of the damage inflicted, and as you book him up, his damage increases by 20%. And there's A2, Frost Jutsu. Attacks 3 times at random. Each hit has a 75% chance of placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. So he'll probably wind up hitting 3 different enemy champs, but could hit the same champion 3 times. So it's a 1 turn freeze. Damage increases by 10% when you book them. The chance of landing the debuff increases by 15%. I'm sorry, 25%. And it can be booked down to a 3-turn cooldown. On the A3, he attacks 1 enemy, will ignore increased defense and shield buffs, will also ignore 50% of the target's defense if they are under a freeze debuff, places a counterattack buff and a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if the attack kills an enemy. And again, that books down to 3 turns and a damage increase of 20%. Then on the passive, that is counterattacks with the Cold Comfort. I believe this is, A1 Cold Comfort. Skill whenever you start over. Counterattacks with the Cold Comfort skill whenever an enemy places a stun, sleep, freeze, provoke, fear, true fear, petrification debuff on an ally. Okay. Onward and upward, we've got 4 more to go. And next we have Lady Quillen. I'm not sure. She's got some good ratings too. So let's take a look at her. She's a Banner Lord. And her A1 is attacks 1 enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 15%. This attack is critical. If this attack is critical. A2 attacks 1 enemy, places an extra hit. If this attack is critical, fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%. If the attack kills an enemy. And attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased critical damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. And once you ascend her to 3 stars, attacks all enemies, places a 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also places a 50% increased attack buff on all allies for 2 turns if this attack is critical. So you definitely want to build her out as make sure you give her a 100% crit rate and as much crit damage as you can. And no debuffs, so you don't really have to worry about ACC. So her main thing, speed, she's pretty fast to start with at 101. Just fill out this crit rate and crit damage and get her going. Okay, 3 more to go. Let's see what we get. I'm certainly not expecting another legendary. Old Deacon Armstrong. I think everybody's familiar with the old Deke. But we'll go over his attacks. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. A2 attacks all enemies, has a 80% chance, placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. And when fills the turn meters of all allies by 15% and decreases the turn meters of all enemies by 15%. And if he's ascended to 3 stars, he grants an extra turn. And then, of course, he's got his speed buff in all battles by 19%. All right, 2 more to go. Don't hold your breath. All right, Kellen. He's a fairly decent epic. He's been getting pretty good ratings. He's got 3 attacks and 1 passive. It's kind of a legendary in disguise. All right, his A1 attacks 1 enemy, has a 30% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. On the A2, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. The first hit has a 75% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 50%. That would be good in pretty much most places, but especially in Fire Knight. The second hit has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. And also places a perfect veil buff on this champion for 2 turns. And on the A3, attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 5% for each debuff on the target. And then on the passive, will ignore shield buffs when attacking under a perfect veil. All right, we have 1 shard left, and let's see what we get. Oh, bum, bum, bum. All right, I can feel you. So we get the little dwarf here, feel ya. And let's see, she's okay. She's pretty decent. I've used her quite a bit. She's almost a legendary in disguise. She doesn't quite have the hit power as a legend. If she had more hit power, she'd be a really good champ. Definitely a legendary. But her A1 attacks 1 enemy 2 times, destroys the target's max HP by 10% of the damage inflicted, cannot destroy a single enemy's max HP by more than 50%. So, see, who is that? Bommel? No, that would be the Scarab. So she's good for the Scarab. It's got that shield that you want to destroy max HP to get through. On the A2, attacks 1 enemy, has a 75% chance of fully depleting the target's turn meter. And on the A3, attacks all enemies. Did the A2 attack all enemies? No, just 1. A3 attacks all enemies, fills his champion's turn meter by 15%, and heals them. I should say heals her, but I guess they don't want to get into pronouns. By 15% of the damage inflicted if the attack is critical. And lastly, on the passive, unlocks at Ascension level 3. If this champion has 2 or fewer buffs at the start of the turn, places a 50% increased ATK buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. All right, so there we have it. We have our 11 Sacred Shards. We did pull 1 legendary champion and a few really decent epics. And get the garbage out of the way. So I got anything here worth getting? Always pick up those mystery shards whenever you can. You want to keep yourself well stocked for when we have summoning events. And speaking of summoning events, we do have one going on right now. So let's see where I'm at. Champion Chase. Probably about, yeah. Well, good. I got one more of the fusion champ. Do 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 do. Oh, takes so long for the tournament server to respond. Come on. Could be because I've got 2 programs going at the same time, but this computer has plenty of RAM on it, memory. So there's nothing else, I don't think. Red dots. And see how we are on the events. We have a Gear Hunters event coming up. We have Gear Enhancement event currently going on. Champion Training. And I'm only at 600 points, 900 points. So I'm nowhere near the 1,500 points to collect that. Might just spend some time putting the gear on Ray and leveling her up a little bit. So who do we get new? We got new Dark Elf and Ray. So this is the first time I got an array on this account. And you see I've got plenty of room for more Dark Elves. In fact, pretty much all the champs. I'm going to do and let's see, we've got Champion Vault, Last Summon. Here's our Last Summon champions. We're going to kick Ray over to the collection. Find her real fast or slow. She'd be at the bottom here. I'm into the 40s, so she must be right around here somewhere. There she are. I'm going to use the auto equip, and let's see what we get. Okay. Didn't equip anything there. I want some. What do I want? I want to take a look at this again. Definitely want to get some accuracy. So let's see. Ring's not going to get me any accuracy. But they did fill me up with a couple of these. Chronophage. If I get a third chronophage, it just increases the resistance. If I can get 4, one immutable stack started each round, started the round. Well, we'll see. Might just go through it and see if we have any more. I do. So, HP, ATK, defense. Well, looks like the best one has the ATK in there, 6%. Well, this one's got 22 plus 4%. It increases ATK by 42, 25, 30. But once this could double up, so we'll change it. We'll put that one on. And let's see what else we've got. This hopefully these are speed boots. Yeah. Okay. With ATK, I would prefer some crit rate or crit damage on the boots. So this one, see what happened. Now you see how this is working. Her damage is based on ATK. So using the auto equip went for ATK to build as much as it could. And speed plus ATK. ATK twice with some accuracy. I'm going to take a look and see what we have in Chronophage. See if we have any accuracy. Do I have any more Chronophage? What do I have in Chronophage? Wow. Well, it doesn't look like I have any chess pieces. I've got some shields. I've got a crit damage on the gloves I could do instead of crit rate. The shield they put on has 2 defenses, accuracy, crit rate, and crit damage. So, let's see what's in here. Nothing to compare. Extra speed. I mean, because this speed is pretty low right now. Not much really worth in there putting on. That's okay. So this one's got helmet, it's got attack, crit rate, and speed. Helmets we have crit damage, accuracy, more crit damage. Nothing doesn't look like anything with speed. There's a crit rate and crit damage. That might be useful instead of what's up there. That one's speed with crit damage, crit rate, speed, and attack. And accuracy. What was this? Damage and accuracy. Yeah. And compared to the. So we've got two of the cruel set, and that gives us 15% attack and ignores 5% of enemy defense. Yeah, I guess looking at what the auto equip did with the artifacts that I have, it's probably about as good as you can get. I assume if you're using the Hell Hades optimizer, it might find a little bit more of one thing or the other if you try to force it. But I don't think I have anything else in Chronophage that would be good to take the place of what I have. It's only what 5-star compared to 6-star. Yeah, I will stick with that for now. And notice everything's up to 12 level 12 already. I'm gonna make it 16. Pull in some extra crit damage there. Do I have any ascension I can use? I do. See what we can get for accent defense. And upgrade this to 12 to 16. And this one is 16. It's already filled out, so it's only going to possibly double something. Add extra crit damage. And I can ascend it. Get more defense. Alrighty. On to see how much we can ascend her. Good grief. Don't think I have any of those. I can make 6. 7. So that'll go there. All right, so I can get it to 3-star, 4-star. And I believe, no, that won't give me the, going back here, it opens up at 5 stars. Boom, boom, boom. Nothing. Boom, boom, boom. Upgrade level. Get rid of these guys. Let's see. I don't think I have any more in here. Give it a whirl. I'm just doing this to try to pump up a little bit on the events. Not really planning on using her a whole lot. And I'm pretty sure I don't have 5 chickens. I got 1. 2. 3, 4, 5. But those are epics. What are they? 3 of them are in the Guardian ring. Oh, I definitely don't want to use these two. Trying to fill out my faction. See what I have of that faction. Well, completed a couple of quests. Daily's all done. So I have any clan boss keys? I do. Let's see. We've already popped one in here. Yeah. Do I have any here? Nope. So we're just going to get that to get the chest tomorrow. Have you guys noticed on the Chimera and Hydra, they now put in how many turns it does? And then it just keeps spinning. I don't like that. Turn limit reached. Clan boss turns 146. Boom. And one more key on Brutal. So this is getting me more resources for future endeavors. I am not going to spend a lot of silver on Ray. I probably have some other champs that I could do some more damage on or do some more upgrading on. See, nothing changed there. Let's see if anything here. Got the champion training event. See how far we got with that. Whoa, whole one. You got to do a lot of champion training to get down to these two. And that takes a lot of silver and a lot of champions. I did it earlier today. I upgraded 20, the chickens to put Gaius at level 60, and I still didn't complete, or not even to the second one. Only got to the first rare there. I mean, I could do it really quick. Might take me more than 15 minutes, though. Do some upgrading. I got 22 million silver. Then I've got all these chickens right here. And I only have 3 of these. And I wouldn't mind if I could get Xanthe Seaflower. Can't see her. I mean, it takes 4 to get the one epic. But I do want to keep one of these. So I would hope to get 5. Oh, where am I? What is this? Let me check the tournaments and see. It's going to slow down the video. Let's see. We got Fire Knight, and then the Champion Chase. The Champion Chase. Any day now. I've gotten one. I need to get to 6,000, and I'm pretty sure, unless I pull all my shards, and then a staggering amount of the mystery shards on top of that, I will not reach 6,000. And on the events, We have the gear enhancement and champion training. So how far am I away on the champion training? Too far away to even make it worth going. Well, it might get there to the first one. And then gear enhancement. Quite a ways away there too. Well, let's try some making some chickens at least. I probably have some kind of legendary I want to upgrade to 60. Let's see, all my legendaries. Include everybody. Legendaries. See, I got 2 of him. I've got the new guy, Valerian. He's a possibility. Of course, I got Ray. Got Tatura. He's a good champ. Not great, but good. Nolanus. I'm not sure about him. No. Who else? I think this champion might be worth leveling up. Incarnate. Not really. Faction Wars. This is sad. I've got all these legendaries, and really, I've already got one of him up there. Really don't need any more than one. All the rest of these are pretty lousy. Genzen might be worth it. Let's see. Sorta. Fire Knight, Faction Wars, Arena, Campaign, and Minotaur. Oh, man. Let's change this and see if there's any epics worth it. We got Vogoth. Well, I've got 2 of her. 2 Whispers. Whisper might actually be worth it. And I've got Galapo. Got Morag. Got more epics that are worth leveling up to 60 than legendaries. All right, so, and then I've got Philia. This is our second Philia. Put her in the Faction Guardians. And Dwarves. I got more than I thought I did. Morag. And Philia. Okay, now. So it's not what I wanted. What we're going to do is up. Yeah, that is what I wanted. We're going to upgrade 20 legend or rare champions for chickens. And these 2 are going to stay right where they are. And so here's our chicken material. All these duplicates. Going down. We'll start here. I mean, how many of these we got? 1, 2, 3. See, 4 times 3. That's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And here's our 20 right here. All right, let's start with these. Max them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Thanks, Clarion, for making this so tedious. 9, 10, 10 more to go. And you can see why it's important to do all those quests and do all the things that, the daily and, all the little different tedious things to do is you need those potions to level up with. You need the chicken champs. You just need all these little things to come together to get you the materials you need to level up the better champs. I guess that was 11, right? Twelve, 13, 14, 15. I might have miscounted. That's probably 17. 19, And see if this is 20. All right, we want to see 4-star rares, not just Eris. I missed something. Oh, sure. I know what I did. I'm in the wrong spot. 3 stars. Ready to upgrade. So 4 times 4. I need one more. Okay. There's 20. Now, if you don't mind taking some time, you can always, instead of leveling up using, like I did, using your juice, you can do it with going through campaigns. It's a good way to convert energy into silver. But since I have plenty of silver, plenty of chicken champs, I'm going to go ahead and use what I have and save some time. Now I just saw I have 7 chickens there. One, two, three. If I put some extra chickens into 5 stars, it's not going to hurt me. I'll have plenty to. I'll have a few left over for next time. Gotta be careful I don't accidentally take out my level 60 rare champions. I think I would like. I don't know. I'm trying to decide which of the epic champions I want to go ahead and put to level 60. It's a conundrum. I'm thinking Ophelia, but I don't know. Anybody out there got some input? I know most of my audience does not watch live. Most of you guys watch it afterward. But just remind you, If you stuck with me this far, to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It's now been an hour. I've got a few more of these to do. And if you can stick with me, it doesn't matter how long it takes. We're playing the game. You can see how this is done if you haven't ever done it before. As you can see, what I'm doing is I'm just going through and hitting up duplicates. Eris is farmable, and you saw, as you could have seen by how many of them I have. So it's always good for your chickens to use duplicates, and you can get a lot of duplicate Erises by farming. One more. Let's see. He's a dupe. Doop doop doop. Do 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 do. Anything? All right, now we go to level up. We need 5. Yep, 5. And we're going to go to 4-star rares. Include Master and Reserve Vault. And we'll take these 5. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, now I can get those 5 up to 5-star. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I actually got 6. 1. Make sure I'm not hitting my 40s. I should have said. There's 1. There's 2. There's 4. Somehow I miscalculated. Anyway, there's 5. Okay, now I go to Epics, 5-star, and try to decide who I want to put to level 60. Good idea might be to see what ones I have at 6-star. Well, they can't be upgraded. Can't be. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Get out of there. We want 5 and 6-star epics. See who we have. All right, so I've already got a number of them. So basically what I'm looking for is I don't want to duplicate any 6 stars, any of the epics that I already have at 6 stars. All right, so we've got, here's our 50 level 50s. You can see what we already have is at 6 star. Let's see, do I have one of her already? Seer? Yes, I do. Okay. Do I have Ophelia? No, I do not. Do I have a Whisper? I'm pretty sure I don't. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do Morag. I want to put Whisper and Ophelia up there. Even Taragi. I might already have a Taragi. No. Tough choices. Tough choices. Hmm. You know what? I have not had a Morag yet at 6 stars, so I am going to go with Morag. Morag reminds me of a girlfriend I had back in the 70s. All right, here we are, and we're going to upgrade. We're going to go here, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On this one, 5 chickens, and boom. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, so low on those. Well, crank her up. Boom. All right. Well, I've got Morag up to 6 stars. I haven't put any artifacts on her. I'm gonna do all that later when I'm not doing the live broadcast, so I can use the Hill of Hades optimizer. See if I can get her a little bit better optimized than the automatic. And give me Morag. Let me see here. It's gonna be low down. Where did she go? 50, 50, 50, 50, 60. Yeah, if I do the auto equip, I don't know what they'll do for her. Counterattacks when hit while under strengthened buff placed by this champion. Teams up with 2 random allies to attack a single enemy. The allies joining the attack will always use their default skills. Grants an extra turn if an enemy is killed. Attacks all enemies. Places a 25% strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. And attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit will ignore shield buffs. Now, so she's kind of a good champ for Hydra and Chimera. But I've got quite a bit of work left on her. And that's going to take some time. What was I going to do? I was going to look at the event. Champion training. Let's see if it got me the next champion. I would still one champion, still a little short. So I've got to train up some more champions. All right, people. That's going to do it for me for tonight on this. And you have a good weekend. It's going to be a hot one. We're in the middle of summer. We're in summer now, boys. I tell you. Temperatures here in good old Florida this week was up to like 105 where I'm at. So good thing God invented air conditioning. Thank you, Mr. Carrier. All right, everybody. You have a good weekend, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Again, 10 p.m. Hit that like and subscribe button, and peace out.